What's up, everyone? This is Ruben Young, aka the Young Electrician. Welcome back to Young Electrician Podcast. On this podcast, we like to see electricians grow, not just in the workplace, but also in their personal lives. We believe that your work life and your personal life should complement each other and not compete. So, with that said, I got my first ever guest on the podcast. This is Nico Olson, aka Nico Chan, one of my ex-coworkers. The legend himself. What's up, Nico?
What up? It's an honor to come be your first on this podcast, man.
It is
I don't really know what to do with my hands, it's just
just things.
I've never really been
things.
interviewed like this before, so it's a first, but it's yeah, man. Just a shout out to you on you helped me out a lot when it was first coming to studying for my journeyman exam, and I had a lot of questions and very nervous. So you're great on being able to help me out on these. So I feel honored to be the first on your podcast. And
nice. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was about to start charging you too. I'm like, one more question. Scared. About to start sending you a bill. And I charge a half day minimum too. That's 4 hours. So
yeah, you show up on the job, man.
No, I got a couple guys at work. I'm like, I'm about to start charging this guy. All right, cool, man. So how you been since last time I seen you?
Dude, a lot's changed, dude. I passed my journeyman exam.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I've been excelling in not only with my company that I'm with, that it's just a lot more on the trade knowledge. Once you put yourself in the book, you're able to understand everything that's going on. Thank you. What's what we're building here, and to know the code is like, I want to say it's not just we learn it and then we pass this test and it's done. It's more of like this is our life now. We have to understand every little detail on what we're doing, because right now we might not be using the application, but next thing you know, you're on another job and you're like, oh man, what is the code on this? Like, I should know better. So keeping updated on the code every day is one of those big points on this. And since being knowledgeable on passing this test, it's funny on how as soon as you pass it, my foreman, they just basically, I got bumped up to a lead right off the bat. And
nice.
They're here's the iPad, here's the plans, here's a set of guys, you lay them out. And
here's a 50-cent raise. Let's play.
Well, they offered a good raise, and what's even better is that I'm actually getting offered by other companies for me to jump ship, and prevailing wage. And it's funny because they are all fighting over a wage battle, and it's just so great because I'm just like, well, what are your benefits? You got the 401k, you're doing prevailing wage work. Like you got free insurance, like a company truck, maybe fast track or a gas card. These are all things that you can build on and that you can choose who you want to go for,
Yeah.
And, some companies, they might pay you more, but you're still one of the lower guys on the job. You're just kind of using your journeyman. Or you can jump to a company, they might pay you less, but you're in a lead position. So that's not as much laborious work, but more mind work. And I think one of the biggest ones is like kind of deciding which route to go. Do I want to just kind of chase prevailing wage, or do I want to sit down with a smaller company and grow with them, try to build up my 401k and plan to retire? So different routes, different things. I think we all really want to chase the money. That's the ultimate thing.
Definitely. Yes. I want the money.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me too.
The highest bidder.
Yeah.
The highest bidder.
So I'm for auction. So if there's other companies that are watching this, come check me out, dude.
Me and Nico will jump ship right now. My
Yeah.
2 weeks notice would be, if you notice I'm not here in 2 weeks, it's because I'm not, because I left, right? That's awesome. Well, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's awesome, dude. You know, that's interesting too. You talk about like having this code knowledge because obviously, I talk to a lot of guys about getting certified, something I'm big on. And a lot of the journeymen on the job site, I always hear them say the same thing. It's like, man, you're not going to use this stuff on the field and, this knowledge. But the reality is, like, you're not going to use this on the field. Like, if you want to be an installer, if you want to be, somebody that just runs conduit and, if you just want to be a worker that's being told what to do, then yeah, you're not going to use this stuff on the field. But if you want to move up in your career, if you want to move up in the trade, you're going to need to know this. You're going to need to know how to do load calculation and wire sizing and sizing for motors. And like, of course, we're not going to know everything, but whatever direction you want to move in, you are definitely, if you want to move up, you're definitely going to have some understanding of the NEC. And I think that's what, taking and passing the test is. It doesn't mean you're the world's greatest electrician or you know everything. It just means you know how to navigate this code book and you're on your way.
Like I wanted to piggyback off of what you said on just like how they're saying you might not be using this on the field, but those guys are just one trick ponies. They kind
Yeah.
of they're set, they know what they're going to do, and some guys they just want to be just pipe runners the rest of their
Yeah.
life, and they're okay with that. But for me and you, I'm pretty sure you understand on I want to make money. So if I'm just known for running pipe, but I'm not knowing exactly on my code, there's no way I'm gonna just sit there and grow. It's
Yeah.
you kind of stop yourself from building yourself up. So don't ever let that like stop you. Like it's good to be good at a certain thing, but you should be well knowledged all around 100%. So
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of life is to grow. You don't just get good at one thing and you're at the finish line and you just stop. It's like you should keep growing and keep building yourself. It's a never
Yeah.
ending thing, especially with there's all new codes that are starting up. It could be by district, like the Title 24 stuff, and then
Oh
you
yeah.
could be certain areas, what was it? I was up in Pasadena and we were doing the water treatment plants, and they had a lot more securing code for that just because of they I guess our inspector was talking about like earthquake qualifications for those areas, and
Oh
because
yeah.
it was the water treatment, it was more of like, dude, we need to get these people water in case of an emergency. So this code is like it was a little more extensive than what the
Yeah.
code was saying in the NEC. So you got to know those backgrounds on those things too.
Yeah.
And
That's a
I had to learn it on the go. So
that's a lot of what it is too, because a lot of it isn't just the ADC, it's what the heck's the city code. I think
yeah.
in Los Angeles, the fire department actually has some of their own code. When the building's too high, you need to have cameras in the stairwells, so the firemen are able to see what floors are on fire, what floors aren't, and for the access up and down of the stairwell. And it's
For
like, oh, okay,
the egress things. So what was that on that last job that we were at together?
yeah, I don't think it was on the last job. Somebody brought it up though that I was talking to there. They did one of the high rises, and he was just talking about how you need to know what the city code is because like that's not even a city code. That's the fire department. It's like a
Whole nother
completely
field. Yeah.
yeah. But that's cool, man. All right, so hey, let me ask you, Nico-chan. Uh, how did you get into the trade? How old were you, and how did you get into the trade?
Okay. Let's start back from when I first started working ever was so my dad's a framer and a finished carpenter. So
Oh, nice.
I was kind of always doing construction. He would always hire me to do the demolition and the cleanup. So I was always sweeping and digging holes and just the dirty work. And he didn't pay me very much, but it was under the table, and so I could go to the movies and have a little bit of an allowance. And it definitely built a lot of good work ethics on what I was
Yeah.
taught from my father. But one of the biggest things I always remember him telling me was, go be an electrician. You don't like this dirty work? Go be an electrician. They use their minds. They're smart. They come in when it's all clean and neat, and then they do all their work, and then they leave early because they're the guys that get paid the most, you know? I mean, the other route, he said, you could be a plumber, but, you know, shit rolls downhill. I do not want to deal with that. I have much respect for those guys. They work just as hard as us. But when it comes to if I had to snake a pipe or something, that wasn't for me. So basically, that was the idea when it started. You know, I got up to finishing high school, and my parents were like, you know what, you need to go to college. And I did. I went to college. I went and got my bachelor's degree in graphic design, and it turned out I had my son coming in the picture at that moment. And they wanted a no paid internship, and you know, I felt like I wasted 3 years of my life building up for this, and then they weren't going to pay me after I did all this schooling. So let it be known, just because you're going to college doesn't mean you're going to be making good money right off the bat. You're going to still have to start from the bottom and work your way up. So basically, I needed to make money. I needed to hustle. So I moved back. I was in California. I moved back to Hawaii, and I was word of mouth, gone around, just because I've been in construction for a long time, that I got offered this solar job. And this was kind of like my first little step into the door, you know. They hired me as a laborer. It was a prevailing wage job. We were making bank, dude. We were making like 77 an hour, full benefits and everything. They flew me out from Oahu over to Kauai. And, you know, it's hot when you're up there on the roof. We were installing the solar for all the high schools and elementary schools in that district. And so I'm out there laboring away we're building the racks. We're laying down the panels. We're setting up how many panels to bring our home runs back. We're doing the clipping, wire management, the QC. And they hired one electrician, and we were doing all the installation work basically. And he was just kind of, he was just like, not our foreman, but he was our lead towards the end on just when it came to the wire installments. And he was just doing the makeup. And I'm like, how is this guy making almost twice as much money as what we're doing? And he's just sitting here telling us what to do. And I found out he was the electrician on the job. He had his journeyman electrician license. I believe he was out of Utah, and they flew him out there just for this job. And, you know, he brought all his tools. He was very knowledgeable of the trade, and he did like half the work. He was using his brain more than his laborish style. And that intrigued me, you know. So I'm just like, dude, I want what this guy's doing. I want to do.
You were doing solar at the time, though. Solar.
Well, I mean, I was kind of doing solar. I wasn't doing the wire makeup. I wasn't understanding how ATS systems work.
But you were getting paid 77 an hour at that time, right?
Well, but he was making more.
He was making more.
He was making way more. Yeah. Dude, I was a labor guy. I was at the bottom of the P wage compared to that.
Oh man, yeah. Most people are probably listening to this making like 20, 30 an hour, thinking like, oh man, I'd be cool with 77.
Yeah. So but okay, let me reiterate, the 77 is full package. Maybe on check, you're probably taking home maybe around 50. So
only 50.
Okay, you get what I'm saying? Like, all the benefits. Nice. There was 401k or a pension.
Which is nice.
Yes, which is nice. You know, you're still making that money. It's just it might not all be on the check that comes to you.
Yeah. So you know, that 401k though, it's cool because I didn't have a 401k until I started working on a prevailing wage job. So I'm like, oh, you know, after being there for a year, I'm like, oh, thank God I was on that job and they took that money. I would have spent it.
Oh yeah. Well, what's great is like, dude, have you checked that out lately? I'm like, that last job we were on, I was just like, dude, there's a lot of G's in there, dude.
It bumped up. It bumped up.
And which is scary with like how the economy works, and we're trusting the stock markets with it, but we got to really look out, like this is our retirement for the long run. So
Yeah.
it's a cool thing on knowing that I do have a cushion, and that when I go these company shopping, I want to know, like, how am I going to look in the long run on my retirement, and that's a big factor. I need to understand, like, are they going to back me up, or am I going to try to work till I'm 80 years old?
Let's
I
do
I
that.
I don't want to do that. I want to go travel. I want to like spend money for my son, make sure he's able to go have the toys and take him for the fun adventures, and
That's right.
um, that I feel like as a parent or anyone else in here, it's like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Or if you're a young single dude or girl, it's like you go use that money, go travel the world, but at least on a backup, you have something to retire on.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. You don't want to get there and be broke.
yeah.
Ah, shouldn't
So
have spent all that money.
so we kind of got sidetracked there, but let's go back to the story.
So that's how you got started.
Yeah,
You've seen this, you got
that was my first entry level kind of at doing electrical. We're clipping the clips, and if we did it wrong, we had to put the tool in to unplug them, and then we
oh yeah.
count out the sets and then do it correctly and run our home runs, and we're making sure to sticker everything and our label stuff. So that was my foot in the door. What happened was my son was being born. So after he was born, I took some time off. I went back to work for a little bit. The mom and my son, they went off to California, and they moved away. So when they moved away, there was some time apart. It's stressful when you have to work and you're trying to be a provider. So
Yeah.
I ended up going out to California, and things didn't work out. It was just we were very young, so we ended up going through a divorce, and during the divorce time, it was like I'm out here in California, so I need a job.
Yeah.
Now, when I was during college, I was doing framing work for a smaller company called Jeff Tanner, and these guys were letting me just kind of help build very nice homes out in the Costa Mesa, Newport area. And while I was doing that, I learned they had these set electricians, Jetty Electric, and they would show up all the time. And I started making friends with this guy Nick, and Nick Bean. And I hope he's gonna watch this, because I hope you to interview him later on some other time.
Oh yeah,
But
send him this.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, he would be great, dude.
And
I think
everyone in your contacts, and I'm just playing.
he'd be a great guy to interview. And so it was tough. I was going through a divorce. I was mentally and emotionally not all there, but these guys knew how hard I worked. And because I was working with the Jeff Tanner, I gave him a call. I'm like, hey, I'm moving back out to California. I really want to get into electrical. Will you guys help me out and get started over here? And they're like, do you really know anything? And I'm like, I am so green. I'm greener than the grass. So they're like, all right, we've worked with you on jobs, and we see your work ethic. So like that got me in. They're like, dude, we're kind of overstaffed, and they weren't paying me very much because it was like I was so new, but I wanted to get in the trade. I didn't care what I had to do or what I had to overcome. I knew electricians made a lot of money, and I wanted to be at that point. So I would do anything to get there. And if this was my step in the door, I took it. Dove in. These guys were great. Nick became one of my best friends, and he taught me a lot. He taught me how like three-way switches work. He taught me on the difference between like 120 and 277, just the basic understanding. And and then he was like, we did all these luxurious homes out in Newport. We worked on like the Ferrari dealerships, mansions. We did a lot of jobs. I think I don't want to be dropping too many names on like if they ever watch this, they'll be like, dude, you're not supposed to be saying that kind of stuff. But basically, these are high-end homes for very rich people. And
Nice.
so it was like we had to be very delicate. We had to know exactly what we're doing. A lot of it was new construction, not too much remodel or fixing stuff. So it made it a lot easier doing that kind of work.
Yeah. They
So
still suck though, those jobs.
it does. It does. You know, there's a difference between residential and commercial, and some people prefer commercial and some people prefer residential because once you learn how to wire up a house, they're kind of all basically the same on how layouts and how joisters and rafters and all that stuff works. So I worked for this company for a little bit. I learned a lot. It was more on just how wiring works. They taught me how to do like receptacles on being neat and clean, on just like wire makeup. Didn't get too much in the code though. That was the thing. It was more of just, hey, this is what to do, how to do it. Now go install.
So you weren't in school at the time. You had no schooling.
No schooling yet. No schooling. It was all just kind of learning. So, you know, it almost seemed like as if like you're you go, I don't know, we'll just say like with an uncle, and the uncle just kind of teaches you something and then tells you how to install it, and then you just do it, you know? Like I didn't understand like how electrical theory worked, or you know, like I just knew, okay, the black wire goes with the gold, and then the silver with the white, and you know what I mean? Like, so it's just like it took a minute to figure that stuff out. But yeah. Oh man.
So when did you actually get into, because you went to, was it Wika?
Yeah, I went through Wika. So
when did you get into there?
So
no, go ahead.
Yeah. So with the story, you know, they weren't paying me much, and I was there's a guy that was making a little more than me, and this is where there's the difference between electrical trainee and an apprentice. Now,
Oh, heck yeah, there is.
Yeah, so I actually was an ET before I got into the apprenticeship, and the difference is like, yeah, you can make good money. You can, if you get on a prevailing wage job, it's like they have to pay you the full package. You're not on a set standard depending on where you're at in school or what you're doing. But with the electrical trainee, at least if you sign up for this class by the state, they have to pay you a certain amount. So I signed up for that as soon as possible. You know, I found the cheapest class, the very first one, and they're only paying me like $15 an hour. Once I got that. So it was just like, okay, I felt good. It was like, this was like 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So
it's not the same. You can buy more than a sack lunch.
Yeah, like it's got to be higher now. I mean,
oh goodness gracious, it better be.
The cost of living, this is crazy, man. Our economy. I couldn't even imagine making.
Don't make me
at that
depressed.
point, I was like, bro, you go work at McDonald's, be making $20 an hour, you know?
Dude, I got certified during COVID. So, you know, my other company I was working for, at that time I already had my own apartment, you know, my car or whatever. I could pay for stuff. And I wasn't making that much money as an electrician. But when I got certified right at the beginning of COVID, I thought like, man, I got bumped up. I got into the job that we were on together. But with inflation, oh man, it brought me back. It brought me back down. I was like, it feels like I got like a $5 raise maybe. But yeah.
But you know, those are the little wins, and then the economy is just like, no, we're gonna set you back just a little bit. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So
good.
So so I went with the ET route, signed up for class. Now the difference was accountability. I think that's a huge one, man. You know, I cannot be accountable to do my own studying on my own when I was left to my own devices.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people.
I was very young, I was immature, and I wasn't ready to step up. Now the difference is now having the willingness to go through the struggle and self-teach yourself to get to that level. Now, some people do have this discipline to be able to knock that out, and other people they don't.
Yep.
So that's a huge one to have on doing it. So, I was young. I was still out like going and enjoying my life and trying to do everything that's just we'll go party and hang out with friends, and
Yeah.
but I wasn't putting any time to the side to grow. And that was the big point. So I kind of felt like I wasted my time. Every year I would have to pay for a class so that I kept my ET card, even though I was failing it out. I would do the thing, but I just wasn't learning. I just wasn't teaching myself or trying to get the understanding on how everything worked.
And was that a self-paced thing, or did you have to go to class? Were you supposed to go to class?
I was an online class, so
Okay.
I do it on my computer, but I had so many months to finish the course. It was kind of you're learning from a robot on there, so it's like they show the reading, and then I would have to come back and learn the questions and kind of do it. But at that point, I'm not very good at self-learning at first.
Yep.
I'm kind of more of a hands-on person. That's why I picked it up quicker when like uncle would tell you like, hey, this is how it's done.
Yeah.
and you would knock it out. So and then I didn't have anybody to bounce my questions off of.
Yeah.
So even if I did read it and I had a question, it would be more, I would have to use my better judgment on it. So it was kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, that's why I tell a lot of people too. It's like, man, if you're going to take the journeyman exam, go take an in-person class or online class if you're able to sit, on a computer, and just you could ask the questions as you're learning, because it makes a big difference.
Oh yes, big difference. And that's my other point is I actually didn't really even know about the apprenticeship too after with the ET. So I was I said I went through the divorce, right? I was still in contact with the family and being there for my son, and it was one of my ex-wife's family friends. He was a journeyman electrician. He had his C10, and he was actually a big foreman for an electrical company called Helix Electric.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're big, so we would see them at kind of family gatherings and stuff like that. Me and my ex-wife were really cordial. Like it was cool. So he found out I was in this thing, and he made the offer. He's like, hey, do you want to be an apprentice? And I'm like an apprentice. And then he explained it to me, and he's like, yeah, they put you through school, you get medical benefits, they're going to teach you in class, you get automatic raises, and you get to be put on jobs. Yeah. And it was kind of like, dude, why not? Like free insurance, free schooling, I get to work while I'm in school. I get to learn all of this, and I get a teacher to tell me what to do, even when I have these questions. So it took a minute, but he got me in. He got me indentured. You can't be doing drugs, and you got to be pretty knowledgeable on just basic trade knowledge on just like how to read a ruler. You can't be colorblind. Those are like some of the tests they do when you're first getting indentured in. So I remember going down there, and it was down in San Diego at WICA, and they basically were like, hey, do you want to you gotta do the P test, exactly all I was saying. There was kind of like an ASVAB, or just the basic trade knowledge test. So it was a color test. And then, I had to do, I think it was only like 20 questions, and some were on safety. And then the others were on just kind of like, right angles, how to read a tape measure, just simple mathematic questions, so it's just like, hey, if I can understand division and multiplication and for like, doing formulas basically. And so I passed that with flying colors. And then, that was my step into the apprenticeship. And there were options though. So don't think WICA is the only apprenticeship program that's out here in California. We do
Although
also,
you should do Wika.
yeah. Okay. So yes. Okay. There is that debate now. There's ABC and there's WICA. Now ABC is you know, they're smaller on you only got to do 4 years
Yeah.
versus 5 years. But I'm not sure on the insurance on that part, but I do know Wika had insurance and it had a pension at the end. So it's
I think
the
ABC is
pension
very
might,
similar.
yeah. So I mean, you might not get a pension with ABC, but you're going to be out sooner. So then you could be journeyed out making more money that
Yeah.
add up to that pension. So it's
Either one. I tell people sign up for that, sign up for whatever unions are around you. And for first one come, first serve, first come, first serve. Just take one. Because they're all beneficial. They all have, guaranteed pay raises, good schooling, and it seems to be way easier to get certified. They give you a lot more preparation than, somebody who's an ET. So yeah, sign up for all of them. Wait, I know they're taking like a year now just to process and to bring somebody on you, unless you get indentured or sponsored by a
yeah.
company. So goodness gracious, so yeah, if it's going to take a year or more, sign up for all of them.
Yeah,
And
no,
whatever it
that
takes you.
what I had a buddy, it same thing. He like was seeing how cool it was to be in the apprenticeship, and he called me up and he was just like, you know what? He's like, how do I get in that? And I'm like, dude, just sign up,
Yeah.
and then when the time happens and they call you and then you're ready, it's like you take the step, take
Yeah.
the some people don't like what's it called? They're afraid of changing, but he was willing to go through that struggle and was like, you know what, if I'm taking a pay cut but can see the bigger goal, then this is where it's at. And he's a third year now and he's killing it. He's
Oh
killing
yeah.
it. Yeah, he moved down to San Diego. He's doing high rises over there. Yeah, and he like calls me up every once in a while and he's like, dude, I'm so thankful that you suggested this to me and got me in the trade.
Yeah.
And like he was working an office job and he was miserable,
Oh
so
dude.
it's cool to hear
Yeah.
those stories.
I've been listening to a podcast, this female electrician, or I think it's called like this Sparky Life podcast. Pretty good podcast. And I'm listening to the interview she's doing, and a few of the people, they had like one chick was like I don't know if she was a doctor or something. She's in the medical field running a hospital or a unit in a hospital, and she just quit during COVID and went into carpentry. I was like, what?
Really?
But yeah, it's interesting because you have these people, you think like, yeah, the desk job is what you want. The hospital job is what you want. And we have our ideas what we want to do, but once you actually start to experience it, the pay, the work hours, the workload, and yeah, some people just drop it and hop into the trades, and that's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
Well, it also comes down to like what makes you happy, like I almost whenever I picture office jobs, these guys are very serious and you got to get dressed up every day, and that's kind of not my style. I like to be dressing like how I want to dress. I don't want to have to take time. It's kind of like I want to throw a shirt on, get out there, go enjoy life. I'm
yeah,
not trying to impress anyone. When it comes to like going to work, dude, it's like, dude, we have so much fun on the job, be able,
yeah,
like everyone's kind of talking smack to each other. We're cracking jokes and we get down and dirty, do our work, and then we get out and then we get paid. And it's a beautiful thing knowing, I can leave work without having to worry about it too much until you're more at the, I want to say, uh, a foreman position when it's kind of
yeah.
like you hit more of the salary and now you're going to get more of the field work and office work. So that's
Oh
that's
yeah,
that's another big step. That's
because they want working foremen. That means you're going
yes.
to work 80 hours in 40 hours because you got to do the office admin stuff and you got to have your bags on.
Yeah. It's
Oh, I
it's
hate that
tough.
term.
It's tough what they want you to do on like pushing you to those limits. So I that's I feel like that's the next big step too on looking for when we were saying like one trick ponies and what we needed to work towards. So
Is that something you're aiming towards becoming a foreman?
I have definitely want to push up to that level. But I do also have ambitions to getting my C10 contractor's license next and actually starting my own business. So there are levels to a decision I have to make in the long run, because sometimes it is easier to go to work and then leave work and don't have to worry about it. As if I started my own company, it's kind of it's going to be hard to turn it off when it's on the weekends and stuff like that,
Oh yeah. It's, you got to pick your poison, what you want.
Exactly. So
one of the guys I listen to on contracting is the 360 electrician. You watch his stuff?
I actually do. I've seen a couple of his videos, especially
he pumps me up to want to continue and trying to contract.
Yeah.
And just to let you know, dude, I did pass my C10 test last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. It's been almost 9 months and they still haven't approved it. It's dude. Everything in the state on the state level is taking so long. Just renewed my journeyman license. It takes 12 weeks to renew it now. They're actually giving you a whole year to do the process to renew it because it's taking so long. So you can now process your renewal application a year before your expiration date.
I think that's actually a better call anyway, instead of trying to push it to the last minute,
Oh yeah, which I did.
I'm gonna say I got some other buddies too that are trying to do just take the test right now, and they're already telling me they're having a lot of issues. I know 3 guys on my job site, they're trying to get their journeyman exam or pass their exam, but they have to do the paperwork side.
Oh, dude.
They're like, how long does it take? And I'm like, well, normally it's 6 to 8 weeks, but
3 months.
We got some stuff that's coming up. So yeah, it could be a lot longer, or it might be quick. Like I think my last time, it almost only took a week. It was crazy. It went through so quickly. And I was
awesome.
I gotta go. It's time to do this. So
yeah. So I'm hearing it's 3 months now. My buddy sent his in to take the journeyman test in January, and he's still waiting for a response.
Wow. Yeah.
So if any of your buddies need info, man, just tell them, hey, the Young Electrician YouTube channel, go check him out.
Yeah, will do, man. I'll be they're asking questions all the time, and it's funny is I just kind of hand down the knowledge that you were telling me when I was first coming in and starting out, and it's
you got to do though, man. You got to pass it on.
Yeah, and like you always get these journeymen that are like they're very mean. They'll put you in your place.
Very mean people,
real quick.
You're a mean man.
And and I didn't want to be in an abusive like journeyman to anyone. So you could ask any of the guys on my job site. They like who are the apprentices, they actually like fight on who wants to get to work with me because of I quiz them on the job, I test them on their knowledge, I give them opportunities to try something new, and we try to I try to teach as much as I can because I want the guys that are on my team to be the best. So then it's like I can trust these guys to do the same kind of job later on. And instead of like just bashing on someone because they messed up on something, I'm just like, all right, dude, we are human and we are meant to mess up. That's just how life is. And you got to forgive yourself. And
that's right.
It's okay to fail.
You're just a chill dude, bro. Okay. You're a chill dude. I've worked with you. That's why they want to work with you. Because you're a chill dude.
Yeah.
They want to work with Nico.
Don't get me on like, I mean, every once in a while it's like, I'll raise my voice and yell, but I always just
it builds character.
Like, it's I always got to blame myself too, is because I'm the one in charge now and I have to make sure these guys are doing what they need to do to do it. And like I get told by the foreman in front of everybody sometimes on like messing up, and these guys are like, dude, that was my fault, but you took the hit for it. And I'm like, dude, it's okay. Like we're a team. Like it's okay to fail.
That's good leadership.
Yeah. It's, if like you're not doing something right, it's on me because I should be teaching you guys the right way of doing things. So No, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Like, yeah, he yelled at me. Who cares, dude? It's like tomorrow's a new day, and we'll just make sure not to make that kind of same mistake. So,
Yeah, that's taking ownership, man. A lot of people don't take ownership. They're gonna throw the
point the
apprentice under the
finger,
bus.
man.
They'll make the mistake and blame the apprentice.
Oh yeah. Do you
And
know?
that's poor leadership. So
Yeah.
I could respect that, Nico.
Thank you, thank you. And don't think your foreman or lead is indestructible either on being the smartest dude, because sometimes they lie underneath their
Oh
breath.
yeah.
No, that's not code. Or they
Oh
say
yeah.
something, like, oh, that was so and so's mess up. It's just like
But just own it. Own
just
it.
own it. Just own it.
Yeah, like I messed up this last week. I laid some lights out wrong. It was a weird thing. It was just I was rushing, laying some lights out just so we could hang some whips. We weren't installing anything, but I made a mistake and I looked at it because somebody else went behind me and ran some whips. And I was like, looking, I was like, nah, I don't think I messed up. But I looked at it, I was like, yeah, no, I messed up. I messed up.
Yeah.
And but you just gotta own it because who cares? The
Yeah.
quicker you own it, figure it out, you can fix it and move on.
That
Nobody cares that much.
big good point. That's so yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Instead of crying over who did what, let's find a solution to fix this and move forward, because yeah, we're ultimately just trying to get this job finished and done. Like,
But I think a lot of guys are more worried about keeping their job. And I don't know, I don't want to rag on anybody. I think some people do have that incompetency to where it's like they don't, or that imposter syndrome where they don't feel like they should be where they're at. So they have to guard it at all cost. And I don't know, I'm past that. I know if I lose this job, I'll go get another one. It's not that big of a deal. And I'm not going to throw somebody else under their bus that didn't do it, just to save my own job. So yeah, I think a lot of people are just scared to lose their job, so they want to just, I
yeah.
don't know.
And when you mess up and stuff happens, you shouldn't be afraid to lose your job if you're with a good company that understands, like, mistakes do happen.
Yeah,
But at the same time, you're going to have to back up that by being a good worker, someone that shows up on time, that's always at work, he's not calling out
yeah,
sick, that's trying to learn and grow, the one that asks questions, the one that's safe and doing everything they can on the job sites to grow and try to be better. And some people don't think that's seen, but
yeah.
it's definitely seen. So like you gotta make sure to give it your all every day, because the guy that's talking and being lazy a lot, it shows. It's just
Oh
like,
yeah,
where's homeboy? Oh yeah, he's in the porta potty again. It's just like we know
Houdini.
exactly every day. Yeah. we
Yeah.
we count on him to be using the bathroom when it's that time, dude. So
Oh,
it's
I kind of yelled at somebody a couple months ago. I was doing some overtime, and we had this guy, and one guy didn't want him because he's worked with him before. And then I was like, whatever, I'll take him. And goodness gracious, this guy could disappear. He just disappeared.
you're like,
And then
where's he at?
so we're just like yelling his name out, and he got let go. Actually, I just had nothing to do with me. I only worked with him once. Didn't say anything. He's his own worker,
I
and
give people the chance, and so they aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and then I kind of call them out,
yeah,
and at that point it's kind of like you go to the foreman and be like, what, this guy's gotta either
you
go
could
to
have
a
him.
different job site, or yeah, someone else.
He's
I
not
rather
working out here.
alone. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But no, yeah, I yelled at him. He was like, I was like, where were you? And he was like, oh, I went to the restroom. I got to do what I got to tell you every time I go to the bathroom. And he's gone for like 40 minutes, dude. And I was like, yes, yeah, yeah. You have to tell me to go to the restroom if you're going to be gone for 40 minutes because I'm over here calling you. I need your help. And I don't know where you're at.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, you need to tell me.
And
But
then,
we do got I think we got like 15 minutes before this thing wraps up. I'm not sure how Zoom works,
oh wow,
but
that's crazy.
we've been talking like schoolgirls, man.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
We might have
let
to
me
do a
ask.
part two.
Let me ask, what are the biggest differences you noticed from before you were certified to now that you're certified? What are the biggest differences? You just name a couple.
Confidence is definitely one, on
Nice.
just, I put in that hard work on learning code and to understand it, and then to how to apply it to whatever I'm working on. And when it comes to that, I'm not afraid to tell my boss on what is needed and how to we're going to execute things, you know.
Nice.
You know, the foreman's got a lot of stuff going on, you know.
Oh yeah.
He's looking at the overall building, and you know, you have to be able to help him to get this project going. So you know, I want to say before I got my journeyman license, I would have been afraid to question him on material and certain things that are coming in. So let's talk about like rib relays for an example. This just happened like a week ago. You know, I caught a mistake on the plans, or I'm sorry, not on the plans, on the material, and I was able to go to him and be like, look, this is incorrect on the material. I'm trying to look ahead. Let's return these, send them back, and that we need to get these certain rib relays for the job. So basically it was just a regular phase, and we needed single phase for these what's it called? It was for the HVAC systems. We're putting the rib relay.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was
nice.
Yeah. So I caught this little mistake. It was a quick, easy fix, and we're still looking ahead on installing it and getting the job on track. Instead of when we got to that point and found out, we would have had to wait for it to get sent back, and when the new come in. So
yeah, man, those are things that count, because that's what actually makes the company money. And like it or not, that's a part of our job. We do a good job to make this company money. So hopefully we get to see some of that money, right? Everybody wins if it's a good company.
Yeah. So yeah, another example I can throw out real quick was you know, I can even question the engineers on the plans, you know, on just like
yeah, they have no clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But most of the time they are correct, but there are, you know, like how I said, we're humans. We make errors, things happen.
I feel so smart though when I see something messed up.
Yeah. So these guys threw on it was a 200 amp panel, and they threw in, it was like a 125 amp breaker on there, and they don't even make a breaker that size for this panel. So as soon as I saw that, I had to go into, I was doing a kitchen, I was doing the Ansel system, and this was a mega dishwasher that I was installing. So I was looking at the calculations, I was finding the load on it, and yeah, I was just like, this wasn't going to work out. And I had to go to my boss, and they're like, oh, like this isn't it. And I'm like, here, we're looking through the submittals. I'm showing you like this is what it's calling out for. Even the engineers saw this and they put it in the panel. So that confirms like this is the unit that's going in. But now our problem is that this breaker cannot work in this panel, and we need to find a different solution. So we went into the tap rule on that. So with the 25 tap rule, we're able to come in before on the feeders, we're able to tap into it, and then we're able to pull out for our own disconnect, a fuse disconnect that we could use for this dishwasher over there.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of planning. I had to go up to the higher ups, you know, and good thing I caught it before. You know, we get this dishwasher, and then we installed something, and then they're like, whoa, this isn't gonna work out. So yeah, that was another good save. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, before I got my license, I would have kind of just went up to these guys and been like, you know, I don't think this is work, or my voice would have been a lot smaller than having the confidence to go tell these guys, like, yes, this is wrong, and this is how we should be doing it.
Yeah. It's a trip how your confidence boosts. You know, that's me getting certified boosts my confidence. I tell guys all the time, dude, it's not just your pay. A lot of things change. Your confidence literally boosts, your self-esteem boosts when you get your certification. And that's what really pumped me up to go and take the C10 exam. Because before I'd be like, man, I suck at taking tests. I suck at studying. I'm not that guy. Dropped out of high school. But passing the journeyman exam boosted my confidence. So yeah, that's good, dude.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what advice would you give either to somebody wanting to join the trade or somebody getting ready to take their journeyman certification? I'll let you choose.
Let's someone that's getting about to try to take the journeyman exam. You know, the other question, I feel like hardest thing in life is trying to figure out what you want to do. So it's like that, you got to figure that out on your own, buddy. So
Yeah, good luck, bro.
yeah. Let's say you already made that. So now we're here. We're trying to get our journeyman exam to pass it. Now, the biggest thing I can do on, or what I was doing was like, is to get down and read. And like, I relate to you a lot. I didn't do good in high school, like, yes, I passed. Yes, I was able to do college, but like, I am not, I'm not as book smart as I want to say I am because it was just like, I just didn't put the work into it. Now after doing the journeyman exam and how I was able to change my habits on how I studied and how I learned, dude, don't ever self-doubt yourself that you can't do anything, because you can do anything you put your mind to it, as long as you are hardworking and that you have discipline when it comes down to these things. So my advice to you is definitely get in the book, read, be as knowledgeable as you can, start to understand. You want to start to understand the different chapters of the book. You want to understand how questions work for the test. So you need to learn the key questions on what it's talking about and be able to read the index. And you got to have an open mind on being able to look at the overall picture of the application the question it is asking. It might be talking about wires or the wire size, but is it talking about like branch circuitry? Is it talking about the feeders that are going in? Like we know the overall subject that this is happening. So I guess my biggest point that I want to say is have the discipline to sit down and study and learn the code. So what I did and my own preference was I didn't pass the test my first time. I failed multiple times, and the third time it was more of, I understood that I had to do every Tuesdays and Thursdays. I was taking a prep class to help me out a little bit beforehand. So they would give me questions, I would read up the answers on it, and then I would have to take an hour test. And that helped me getting in the motions of studying. After on the days that I didn't have the schooling, I was still reading 2 hours a day on just little quick questions. So it was kind of like I would take the questions that I got from my week of school, because you save all your paperwork, and I would just kind of review it, learn to go back to the index, or learn how to go back to in the, what's it called? I was just picking myself up on trying to learn the key words when it comes into your question. So the biggest point was that I want to be able to, if I can't get it on how to look for the answer, it was like I had to figure out the other ways to look at this question to find the answer. And then the other biggest thing is to read during lunch. That was a big one, dude. It might not seem like you have much time. I had 30 minutes for lunch. So let's say for the first 20 minutes, I was able to microwave my food. I would eat real quick, but every day I would read, let's say I was running NM cable at on my job site. It was part wood, part metal, but I mean, it is still commercial work, but we do have to work with wood, and we're running NM cable. I would pull up at lunch for 10 minutes, would read maybe, it might have not have been like a lot, but it was like a few paragraphs on exactly what I was doing. So then I understood the code a lot better on my applications. And, that opened up a whole lot more ideas, because then I would come into something else. I'm like, oh, we're doing box fill. I have to do all these home runs. So what box can I be putting in here? So I'd be doing load calculations when I'm on lunch break, and have my code book on the job, so then I can learn these things. So now once you do it enough times, you start to memorize the code on what boxes, on how many wires and whatnot. But you gotta constantly read, man. I just want to say is discipline to read and put the time and effort into it. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Take your NECs to work, guys. That's good, man. That's good. I like it. No, that works. So I got one last question for you. And this doesn't really pertain to the electrical field, although it pertains to electrical in general, I think. All right. So let's say, Nico, you're walking down the street one day, right? And then you see out of the corner of your eye, coming out of a alleyway, you just see this bright flashing light. And you're like, what the heck is this? You hear all this noise, stuff moving around. You run over there, you look, and you see this weird contraption, right? This big metal contraption. And out comes Nikolai Tesla, right? Yeah. And you're like, dude, it's Tesla. But he's pissed because his machine's broken and he has an attitude. And he's looking for someone to pick a fight with. And he sees you. Now you're squaring up with Nikolai Tesla. Who's going to win? One-on-one, bare knuckle fist fight. You or Tesla?
I want to say old me would get angry and just want to fight this guy, but I would have to calm down the situation and just have to just work it out with him,
Okay.
Fighting in anger doesn't solve any of our problems. So unless he attacked me first. If he attacked me first, then I would have to finish it for this guy. But if not, I'm just. So
you'd win if you had to.
Yeah, any cost, dude. I fight dirty. So
okay, good. That's the main question. That's why people are going to start listening to these podcasts, because they want to know who's going to win in a fight.
Yeah.
Right. I got to think of some more of those. Dude, this was cool, man. I really appreciate you coming onto the podcast, taking the time out of your day, and just kind of sharing with people your experience, what you went through, and where you're at right now. Hopefully get you back on the podcast. I'll probably think of some topics we could talk over and bring you over and all that jazz.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, congratulations on all your success. I hope you continue to move up and advance and grow and, personally in your own life with your family and financially at work. So
thank you.
Wish you the best success.
Thank you.
But all right, we're gonna end it right here, dude. And if anybody has any questions, comments, anything, just whatever social media platform you're watching this on, just shoot them. And if you have a question for Nico, I'll shoot him the question and probably have him back on and we could talk through them.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys
learn
up
on Instagram or something. And yeah.
What's your Instagram, bro? Tell them.
It's
if you want to.
It's at Nico_Olson_. So I'm very friendly, I'm open, and I want everyone to grow, and I will always be there to be a lending hand or be able to help as much as I can be able to help. So if you guys have questions or need to reach out, or even I have other things going on too, on more like mental health awareness stuff. So that's another big part of my growth with electrical and not only my life. So
Nice.
Just for any of those kind of questions. So
maybe I have to get you back on. We talk about that.
Oh yeah, dude.
I'll get free therapy.
Yeah. Well, we do it's surf therapy actually is what we do. So you should come down and come get a surf lesson and come check.
I'm from the ghetto. I can't swim.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll get you a little water wings.
I'll hop on the board with you with my little life jacket. No. All right then, Nico. This was good. I'm gonna let you go. And shout you later.
Thank you.
All right then, broski. Peace.
Bye.